I tell you, Gary, I got a new motto. WWDD. That's my new motto. That's how I'm going to live my life. What does that stand for? I'll tell you at the end. Hello, everyone. Jerryactric here with Jerryactric Midnight Movie Review, and tonight it was Finding Dory. Now, this was a very interesting sequel because from its very conception, it should seem to not work. How can you make a sequel to a beloved classic movie that focuses on a supporting character, even as one as beloved as Dory? Dory, if you remember from the first film, can't remember things. And for movies, we have to invest in someone. There has to be a change. So when Finding Dory was announced, I was a little hesitant about it because I didn't know how a movie focused on Dory would actually work. And I'm here to tell you that it works beautifully. From the opening scene showing us a little baby Dory and one line that changes everything. When being told by her parents what to say if you meet a stranger, little Dory replies, "I have a short-term memory disorder." And suddenly Dory's short-term memory isn't as funny anymore. It's almost a disability. So the plot of this movie is very simple. Dory, this also takes place a year after Finding Nemo, starts to remember her family and where they might be. Enlisting Marlin and Nemo, they set off on a journey to find where Dory's parents are. After a catastrophe, Dory is separated from Nemo and Marlin at a water park. And the story just goes from there. Who are the new characters? The first one I gotta mention is Hank, voiced by Ed O'Neill, Al Bundy from Married with Children. Plays this character great. He actually, within 10 minutes of being introduced, became my favorite character. He was funny, gruff, and truly somebody who, being with Dory, will actually improve him. Another great one was, of course, Caitlin Olsen as the whale shark Destiny. This movie actually tells you how did Dory learn to speak whale, and that's kind of the thing I liked about this movie. We'll get to that in a second, but Caitlin Olsen plays a very sweet and funny character who is nearsighted, and so the aquarium holds kind of a lot of challenges. With any sequel, the big question is, does it improve on the first without rehashing the first movie? And Finding Dory does this. It actually improves it. A lot of the story is told as flashback to a baby Dory and her parents, and it was very fun and interesting to see things that you have seen from the first movie that Dory does now with, you get to learn how the Just Keep Swimming song and a lot of other things. So this movie is honestly, in my opinion, is a little bit better than Finding Nemo, and I'll tell you why. I think because this movie speaks more to me because it was about a person with a disability who is suddenly thrust in a situation where they don't have help, and can they make it? And I think that's a great message to give to people and kids, that people with disabilities might have an unfair disadvantage in life, but that doesn't mean they can't do anything. And with Dory, you see a person who has, a disadvantage, but it doesn't stop her. Dory is really one of the most positive characters, and so that also makes up in this movie where she actually gets kind of down. It's almost shocking because it's Dory. Dory's always positive. Dory is always happy. Got to give props, of course, to Ellen DeGeneres, who voices Dory. I've known for a while that she has pushed for this project about Dory. She loves the character, and she doesn't miss a step. It's like she recorded Finding Nemo just yesterday. She steps right back into the character. Of course, also the wonderful Albert Brooks as Marlin shows us a little bit more depth. I was kind of worried that with Marlin, they would kind of revert him back to Finding Nemo, where he's worried and everything else, and for a little bit he does, but he's much more invested in the changes that we saw that Finding Nemo brought to him. So, as I said, this movie kind of hits more emotional buttons. Not to say that Finding Nemo didn't. Finding Nemo was very emotional, but this one kind of hits, and maybe it's just a personal thing for me. So go see it. It is hilarious. It will kind of choke you up at some parts, and I think you'll really like it. Don't go in there thinking, well, God, another sequel to a animated movie. This kind of joins Pixar's other sequel that I always thought was just a fantastic addition to the story, which is, of course, Toy Story. The Toy Story sequels actually build on each other. That's why when they announced they were going to make Toy Story 4, I'm not worried at all, because they seem to have figured it out. So, this is Jerryactric for Jerryactric Midnight Movie Review, telling you, if you find yourself in a bad situation, just remember to ask yourself, what would Dory do? And also, if you're not going to the movies, then what are you doing with your life? Dwarves, humans, the orcs themselves, and you start getting a sense of what this world in relates to Warcraft is all about. There's a lot of good action here. There's a lot of good heroes. The main human guy. No, I think fish are a good pet to have. Especially if you got a small area to work with. Dogs, I've got 4 dogs. I got a big house. It doesn't even work. You thinking about getting some fish, Gary? Well, I mean, fish are, they can be really good. What kind of fish are you looking to get? Piranhas? Yes, I'm thinking you could probably keep 15 piranhas, but see, Gary, there's kind of there's a law against having those kind of fish. You need them for protection. What kind of protection could piranha fishes give? I know that story. They can skeletize a cow in like 10 minutes, but I think that's not really even true. I mean, Gary, are you having problems with cows? You are. How many cows, Gary? You feel like they're plotting against you. Gary, you know my day job is, working at a hospital, right? Well, what I'm trying to say to you is, I know a lot of good psychiatrists. Why do you need them? I can't think of anything off the top of my head.